What's up, folks? Welcome back to another video. Ramattra has finally been unveiled, and boy oh boy, this character is looking to be an extremely potent and very fun character to use. So without further ado, let us just jump straight into things and we'll talk about his characteristics and a little breakdown. Let's go into it, dudes. This is so cool, honestly. This character is amazing.
I never have. Together, we are unstoppable.
Move this out of the way real fast.
My victory, it is ours. It's You are finished.
Character looks so crazy. I just love the imposing, like, you know, figure. Dude, I love the fact that he has his arms like, you know, crossed and everything, and he's still attacking you. That's so crazy. Look at that. He just has his arms crossed and he's still attacking. That is so clean.
I will break before I yield.
Ooh, man. What an awesome looking character. Great design.
They will be annihilated.
He has like Mora's ability in his ultimate form. I love this though, the fact that you can attack through actual shields. So Reinhardt, you know, Sigma, be careful, man.
This is justice.
Yeah, extremely cool character. Very, you know, we're getting this character very soon, by the way, too. We are getting this character real fast. December 6th is not too far, and all I gotta say is, man, this character is looking extremely promising just by everything we've seen thus far. You know, his design is awesome. I love his playstyle in that it's very multifaceted. It's really diverse, and this is something that I think is going to change the way in which we play Overwatch moving forward. And this is a positive. This is a huge positive for the game, because we haven't really seen a tank that consists of multiple playstyles. Usually we have a very like one-dimensional playstyle, either like you're a brawler or you're like a berserker tank like a Junker Queen, for example, or you're more of a mid-range tank like a Sigma, but now, of course we have dive like Winston, but now we have like a tempo tank, which is what they've defined Ramattra as. He's like a tempo tank, which means he can really be a momentum based tank character in this game. And that's really what I think this game really needs, is they need a character that can really shift momentum at any given time and like turn on the gears when you need to. So looking at this overall breakdown from the developer team, from Blizzard, from Josh No and Tess Lehman, so he has different forms. So the first form, of course, we know is the Omnic form, which is your basic, standard form. This form, as it says here, he has his voice accelerator, or void accelerator rather, and this is a massive stat that comes with its own set of primary and secondary fires. So as we've seen from the trailer, you can see that when he shoots, he has like a projectile based attack. And so I'll read right here. It says void accelerator's primary fires out a stream of fast moving nanites. The nanite particles have a travel speed that requires you to lead your targets, but there's no damage fall off, which sounds extremely good. No damage fall off is awesome. Kind of sounds similar to that of, like, let's say Zenyatta, because of course they're both Omnics. But being able to lead your target, so this is kind of like, Sojourn or any other character that has projectiles. You have to lead your shots, which is pretty good. So of course there's going to be some sort of skill expression involved as well. And then you have, this gives Ramattra a longer range option, but there's an advantage to using this weapon close range. And Layman elaborates on this, stating that if you're close to enemies and put your staff in front of their face, you're going to do quite a bit of damage, especially if you're hitting crits. That is really important to take note of, because for this character to have crits up close and personal, This is going to be fantastic, which means players are going to have to be very, very, very careful when they're up against Ramattra on the field, whether it's from mid-range or up close, because if you're up close and you're trying to battle him, he is going to try and knock you with his crit hits, especially in this primary fire. Secondary fire is, or ability rather, is the Void Barrier. Now this is very much like your typical, I guess, barrier like you see on Sigma, but we'll read it here. So a temporary high health barrier that Ramattra can place in a targeted location. When you activate the barrier, you'll see a line on the floor to confirm where you want to place the barrier in its range, which creates a few different playstyles. This is the most important thing here. Use it defensively to protect teammates and cut off enemies, or use it offensively to create space and close the gap between you and the other team. This is fantastic for me because my main is Junker Queen, and I love characters that are all about just intimidation, being able to shift the momentum at any given moment. And right here we have a character that has it already built into his playstyle. And Ramattra right now is looking like a character that I'm going to probably main for a very long time, because I love characters with a lot of skill expression and a lot of diversity, and just how they, allow for better utility in the game. So being able to utilize his Void Barrier for both offensive and defensive capabilities is totally, in my opinion, game changing for Overwatch. Being able to do that on the fly and shift between that is just a chef's kiss in my opinion. So then we have his Nemesis form, but we'll read this very quickly before I go here. Everything about this form enables you to close the gap between enemies. You can use this form tactically, which is what I love, to move in on enemies, and activate his Nemesis form, where he gains 2 new abilities, Pummel and Block. And we've seen that in the trailer, where he uses his arms to block and he can still walk forward and take that damage. And he can pummel you by, using his, I believe it's like the beam that comes out of his fist, and that can go through what seems to be shields, which is fantastic again. Then we have Nemesis form. So this is amazing too, because again, this really goes to show you and exemplify that this character is all about versatility. He's going to be a difficult character to master, I think, because a lot of players tend to be very one-dimensional. Like they pick a character and they go with that one dimension, that one play style, that one direction. But with Nemesis, or rather with Ramattra's Nemesis and his first Omnic form, this is going to create a character now that players are going to be forced to be thinking on the fly a lot. This is going to be a character that's going to be very methodical, very calculating, but most importantly, aggressive. Like this is going to be a character that you want to be playing aggressively, pushing in and getting that reward. So Ramattra's Nemesis form changes both his appearance and weapon. He becomes a giant protector or threat, depending on your perspective. He bulks up with extra armor, and he forms 2 extra arms, which serves as his weapons in Nemesis form. So again, we know that Pummel is a short-range power wave with each swing. It's a piercing attack, so that if there is enemies attacked or stacked within range, they all get hit, which again, this is really good for things like Reinhardt's shield, Diva's defense matrix, or Winston's bubble. So shield characters now are going to have to be a little bit more cognizant, a little bit more self-aware as to why or when they use their shield, because now with Ramattra, he's going to be able to devastate enemies going through their shields. So this whole meta is going to shift completely with Ramattra on the field. And for Block, as I mentioned before, he throws his hands in front of his face, reducing damage from the front. It also is effective at reducing damage of Hanzo's dragons and Torbjorn's molten core, despite them surrounding him, which is awesome. And Block also slows Ramattra's movement speed and only applies the damage received from the front, leaving him vulnerable from behind. So kind of similar to that of, let's say, like a Bastion, where he's very strong in his turret from the front, but if you can attack him from behind, he's very vulnerable. So the same can be said for Ramattra. So it's just about playing, again, very, very carefully, knowing when to utilize your block, and just really optimizing it in the best way possible. And there's no cooldown, which means you can always use it whenever you need to kind of, inch your way in. The way, oh man, this just gave me a huge like light bulb. It kind of reminds me of playing Zangief in Street Fighter, where you're just, you're taking shots, you're taking your hits, and you're inching your way in, step by step by step, and you're inching your way in until you get that final opportunity to go for your grab. And it reminds me just like with Ramattra, where you're just inching your way in, step by step by step with your team, until you finally get that right opportunity to push, and then boom, Nemesis form, and everything is history. So this is going to be amazing. So cool. And so yeah, using it whenever you want by weaving it in and out of your attacks is awesome. The trade-off is that you can't punch while using it, and it slows you down, which is fair. Obviously it would be too busted if that was the case otherwise. And it has an 8-second ability with an 8-second cooldown, so you can't be in this form forever. But again, this just adds more to the diversity, more of that skill expression, knowing when to turn on the momentum, knowing when to become more defensive, then, turn on the gears and go more offensive. So again, it all depends on the player and how you want to better utilize his abilities. And then we have the Ravenous Vortex, which is, I believe it's his E. And this is, it shoots a ball of nanites that slows, grounds, and damages enemies. This is going to be really important here, because this ability, I think, is going to be awesome to counter characters like Pharah, Mercy, dealing with Echo. This is going to be great. So this ability is a projectile that bounces off of walls, enemies, and slippery slopes like roofs. It must hit the floor to activate, and once activated, it opens up this big area that will slow enemies, pull them to the ground, and deal damage. Ravenous Vortex keeps enemies in Ramatra's sweet spot, where he can deal damage easily in either Nemesis or Omnic form, and you can use his ability defensively to keep people off your teammates or lock down certain areas. So once again, this goes right back to the whole idea of knowing when to turn on your momentum and knowing when to kind of fall back and using your abilities for a more defensive, more tactical approach. So this character is going to be all about, again, masterful, tactical, very slow, methodical, and really oppressive when it comes to his approach. Ramattra is going to be amazing on field, and if you can learn to master him, he's going to be a massive threat. So Ramattra can use his ability to halt the enemy team from rushing you, which is great. Enemies have a super weak jump when they are caught in this ability, and this is really important here. Winston goes almost nowhere. This is going to be nuts. So anyone who wants to, go crazy with Winston trying to escape out from a dive, now you can use your E, slow Winston down, focus him with your team, and then boom, no more dive. You're just going to be on the floor, KO. This is going to be awesome, man. He's going to be like, a meta-changing character, where these dive comps that we're seeing right now, they might get a little bit of a tap on the wrist, because now Winston's coming through and he can't move. Ramatra's coming in, he's throwing out the vortex, and you can't move anywhere. So this is great. So making him command space is fantastic. So it makes him somewhat of a zoner as well. He's like a zoner slash, rushdown character, which is awesome. And then we have his ultimate, which is, again, one of my favorites here. Annihilation is a special ultimate. First, Ramattra immediately goes into Nemesis mode, but there's something else going on at the same time. Annihilation is a wide energy swarm that lashes out towards any enemies within range, dealing constant damage. It's similar to Transcendence in the sense it creates a big ring around him. Annihilation has beams that latch onto enemies within range, depleting their health. Enemies need to be within the ultimate's range and Ramatra's line of sight, but there's another caveat to this ability. It doesn't end. If the beam is attached to an enemy, it pauses the duration of the ultimate. The ultimate itself is relatively short, but if it's attached to somebody, it's not ending. With these tethers, while these tethers are attached to enemies, Ramattra has all the benefits and abilities from Nemesis form. He gives enemies two options with his ultimate, either eliminate him or move. So this ultimate is going to be fantastic, like really important when it comes to, once again, playing defensively, playing offensively. You don't have to necessarily use this ability or his ultimate for offensive pushes. You can use it for ways to, again, zone the enemy out. If you feel like your team is being pressured too often, boom, Annihilation, just get everyone off of you, because if they're too close, they're gonna be taking, damage from, all of the AoE from you. So this is really cool. Again, this is really how I like and love character design in video games, where you give characters a lot of options to choose from and how to utilize a character's kit. I don't mind one-dimensional playstyles, but this playstyle here really is all about, again, masterful, tactical, really just oppressive playstyle, zoner slash aggressor, it's a back and forth playstyle that I love, and I'm looking forward to this as well. So as it says here, Ramatra's playstyle is complex and multifaceted, mirroring his history and ideals. Omnic form is highly tactical and gives us a glimpse of Ramatra's ingenious mind, and Nemesis form is a huge, imposing, and violent physical manifestation of his rage. So again, guys, I'm looking forward to this character. I'm going to be definitely making a lot of content for Ramatra. So look forward to him on this channel, and look forward to more Junker Queen videos as well. What do you folks think of Ramatra's announcement? Do you think he's awesome? Will you be playing him? Will you be maining Ramatra long term? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you folks on the next video. Take care, and I'll see you during the launch of Ramatra. Peace.